you're running the opposite direction of where everything else is headed in terms of sales being automated, being digital, AI, chatbots, blah, blah, blah. It's really ballsy to say we're going to go 100% conversation, human to human, no automation. I mean, that's not scalable, the critics would say. That's not the age that we're in. People expect digital these days. You've got to have some really strong reasons for going this direction.
We do, and I think a lot of it just comes down to we're human and we're delivering a creative service that's human driven. So you and I, Daniel, we could have the same designer, we could have the same business, we can be competing, same market, same design collateral, brochures, Facebook ads, and you come in and you have a wonderful experience and I'll have a terrible experience. The variable is the client. It's not the creative, it's not the company, it's not the software. So we have to actually put up friction to ensure that we don't get the wrong kind of client. And I don't mean bad or mean or evil, although we've had a few of those and I've had to fire them pretty fast. I mean, like, what's your skill set? Are you willing to get on and write out what you want? Do you have the right kind of creative assets, like a logo and content that we can work with? So we put up that. Now, I will say we do have preliminary tech that we use. So we integrate with IBM Watson in our chatbot to filter out a lot of the people who may not be a good fit with various, natural language processing questions. So it's supplemented,
but the core is a human-to-human interaction.
Absolutely.
The other thing I like about it, I have to imagine that some of what comes with that as a benefit is expectation management. I mean, you can pick up on the nuance, or they may say a statement and you're like, oh, wait, hang on. They're thinking we're about to do something we're not going to do, but verbally I can coach them back into something that they're still very happy about, but now their expectations are aligned with what we're able to deliver on. Where you're trying to do that through a lead form or an online transaction, it's almost impossible.
Right, because the level of your trust going into our first month determines what happens if something goes wrong. If your trust level is high in us because you and I have had a conversation, I've learned about your business, we've gotten a good match. If there's a small error on, say, a layout or a link was sent incorrectly, you're like, hey guys, fix it next time. Let's get back to work. If the level of trust is low, the second there's an error, I knew it.
Right.
This was too good to be true. I'm out of here. So we try to build that trust on the front end as much as we can and create this experience before you've even started to say, look, we're here. We have your back. We're ready to work for you and ready to support you.
Well, business owners listening to this, you really need to not miss what's going on here. And what I hear in this is advocacy. If you have an advocate, if you have a guy, if you have a girl, you got someone over there who you can just text. And I'm buying a new truck right now, so I'm shopping. And I've got a guy, and he finds things on auction, and he buys them, and he takes care of everything soup to nuts. He delivers it to your driveway. If you have the old car that you're going to trade, he buys it. And it's just super simple. And the other day he said, hey, I found one, but I can't do it because it's direct through the dealer. But if you want, it meets all the specs that you want, you can go directly through them. You'll just have to set up the shipping. And I was like, no, dude, I don't.
You're my guy.
That's not the truck for me because I can't do it through you and you're my guy. And all I know is like, he's just going to make it happen. He's going to take care of it. And if there's a problem, I can text him. And it's like he's responsible for this outcome, which is I've got the truck I want in my driveway, period. I don't want to project manage the whole process. I don't want to call multiple times, and I don't want the dealer saying, "Well, that's the shipping company; it's their fault now, and now you got to go deal with them." And I just want one person that's going to take care of it all. And we're really starting to lose that in this world where you can't find a guy at a company. Most companies aren't even listing their phone number anymore. You have to go through their client service chat thing, and you go, okay, this is going into a black hole. I don't know if somebody's going to get back to me.
Well, and here, so I got a guy like that too, and I love him. So the point that we realized is so many people want to disrupt their business and, hey, we're going to do this new crazy way and we're going to do this new thing and this is how it's going to work. But what they fail to realize is the history of buyers and what they're familiar with and how they buy your service or product. And so inside of cars, although there have been some very successful online companies that you can kind of buy it like Amazon, people are used to buying it from people. So how do you continue to innovate but keep that core premise? With creativity, the reason you talk to someone, most people have bought it by talking to someone. And they want to test, they want to feel. It's an emotional experience. So while we innovated in all these other ways, the technology, we innovated with the pricing model, we tried not to deviate too far from the buyer's past experiences, because then we're just creating more hurdles of trust to overcome to be able to get to that level in which they're willing to say, okay, I want to work with you.
Well, and I think this especially applies if you provide a service. You know, I mean, because if you're going on Amazon to buy a toothbrush, you probably don't need a guy. You just need to get out of my way. Let me one-click order this thing. But if there's complexity, if there's multiple variables, if there's going to be some nature of back and forth talking about the work, a service that's provided that doesn't have a known, like you said before, it's not a commodity where you can just say that everybody knows exactly what this is. There's some describing that has to take place. There's some Q&A and back and forth that needs to happen through a dialogue.
And I would say too, what is your business model built around? Is it transactions or is it relationships and long-term value? Because your truck guy, what's his name?
Truck guy's name's Mark.
Mark. Yep. Mark probably built his business off of referrals. Mm-hmm. He wants to have a great business and get your friends and family. So for us, it's the same way. We want clients that work in a place, leave a company, pick us up at their new company,
That's how
tell
I found
their friends.
Because I have a friend.
Yeah.
He said, hey, I got a guy. Yeah. I said, send me his
info. I got a guy, Mark.
That's it.
I hope Mark is listening. You're doing a great job. But the point is, if your business model is built around the transactions, then yeah, this may not be applicable. But if your business model is built on maximizing that long-term relationship, which in turn maximizes the dollars, then you really have to start there from the very beginning.
Another thing that somebody who's skeptical or maybe a critic of this might say, okay, that sounds good, but how do you scale that? I have to have more people. I have to train more people. I have to deal with more people issues. A lot of this stuff could be automated. A lot of the stuff, we could just have a technology or a software that handles it.
Well, that's very true. I do feel like, though, a lot of it depends on your pricing and the model in which, what are you selling? If your sales team can't create enough abundance in terms of the price and what they're selling, then it may not at all pencil out to have a human-driven sales team. If you're selling Papa John's pizza for $20, no salesperson on earth could make a job doing sales commissions, selling a low price item. Mm-hmm. So the price point, I think, is another differentiating standpoint. But you have to also know your metrics. For us, we can say, hey, we're going to put humans to this and create this sticky process and slow down our sales cycle, because we run so much analytics on what is the value of a client on average. How long will a client stay with us? And then we can make these decisions, not just instinctually or because we feel like it, but we can actually say, look, the data shows this sale costs us $800, but we can make $5,000 or $6,000. So it allows us to, that data is super important in what direction you decide to go.